Joining us now, the man that has the answer to the U.S. economic woes. He's got it all figured out. Chris McMurry, the owner of Crumb and Get It Bakery in Radford, Virginia. Chris, we assume that you built your bakery with your own hands, right?
Yes, sir. And we can't discredit my wife's hand in that as well.
What's her name?
Her name's Kelly.
Kelly. Chris.
That's right. She's actually the baker.
She's the baker. Okay, the owner of Crumb and Get It Bakery, Radford.
Yeah.
Now, this is the story very quickly for those of our listeners that might not be familiar with it. When Vice President Biden came to Radford, Virginia last week, he wanted to go in and make a little ado at the Chris and Kelly McMurry store, Crumb and Get It Bakery, get a few donuts, whatever. And the McMurray said, thanks, but no thanks, no donuts for you. And now, as a result of that, business is booming. What happened, Chris?
Well, of course, they sent somebody from the advance team in to ask if that would be all right and make sure I had everybody there that I would want to be there. And I essentially, after thinking about it for what seemed like a few minutes, it probably was less than a minute, but I just respectfully declined. I said no offense to the vice president or the campaign, but we have some stark political differences. And so I just made the decision and declined them coming in.
Talk about standing for something, because obviously all the PR you would have gotten with a visit from the VP, decided to turn it down. Now, did they give you any pushback at all, or did they simply say, well, okay, have a good day?
The lady was very nice. The interchange was very kind. She did say, well, this will be a lot of press for you and your business. There'll be a lot of folks here, that kind of thing. And again, I just had to say that I declined the campaign coming in there. But she, was respectful, and she said, well, we'll just have to regroup, and then she went on down the street where they ended up. But no, it was very polite, very cordial.
So what is it that made you, Chris, to make the decision basically to tell the vice president and his advanced staff no?
Well, essentially, first and foremost, issues and convictions based on my faith in God, which I see the administration disagreeing with some issues that align with my Christian faith. Secondly, what was playing in my mind is the statement that President Obama made in Roanoke last month, talking about business, saying essentially, you didn't build that. And here we're folks who are working 16, 18-hour days. I told on the news story, and was true that my wife, Kelly, had been up for a full 24 hours trying to fulfill an order for a wedding, and that statement is just something that rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm learning from all across the country that statement is rubbing a lot of people the wrong way.
Now, when President Obama made that statement, if I might add this, Chris, if you listen to the whole statement, you can draw the conclusion that some of it was taken out of text, because essentially he went on to say that you didn't do it by yourself because government was involved. They provided the transportation system. They provided the highways. They provided different things with taxpayer dollars. So what he was saying, or what he explained and tried to explain what he was saying, was that everything is interwoven. But what you're saying is you really didn't see it that way, right? No,
not at all. Look, if they're building roads and bridges with taxpayer money, where does that come from? That comes from a taxpayer. That's not something that's provided or handed down from the government as a result. It's something that I'm paying out each and every month or each and every year, or out of my income or out of your income. Or that's what's building those things. And a few people have emailed me or sent me a letter saying you wouldn't have a business if you didn't have roads, if you didn't have electricity. And I received that on the same day that I'm paying this astronomical electricity bill. So at the same time, really, I'm providing that for myself. So, sure. And if you read the quote in context, and I went back and listened to it several times, it's almost worse. It's almost worse if you look at the context. Look at the statement he made about the Internet. The government created the Internet. Well, that discredits innovation by individuals who were able to take the Internet and turn it into business and make money and do things. Don't discredit the individual who worked hard to create those things.
Right, and now they want to tax it.
Sure, absolutely, and regulate it. Government gets in the way of things rather than freeing up the individuals. Look, we live in the greatest country in the world, and the fact that Kelly and Chris can go and open up a bakery and be successful and do it on their own, yet work hard, that's a wonderful privilege that not everybody's able to experience. But, to say that someone, did that for you, it just doesn't make any sense.
Chris, when you made the decision to turn away the vice president, and you probably knew right off the bat that doing that, you would forego a lot of publicity that would help your company. Did you think that there might be a retaliation if you turned down the Obama-Biden administration?
I thought about, losing some of our customer base. I did think about that, and that grieves me because I don't want our store or our products to be, centered around politics.
Right.
And we serve anyone of any nationality or creed or belief. We don't ever discriminate. But what the vice president was looking for was a photo op with a small business owner to say, hey, we support small businesses, and we're here in a big-time swing state. He was looking for a photo op.
Right.
And secondly, let me say this. I didn't deny the vice president any services. When they stop on these things, they don't ever buy any product. I didn't deny him any services. He was coming here as a vice presidential candidate. And so I didn't really deny him services.
So if he came in to buy a bakery product for him and his staff, you would have certainly accommodated him with that, right?
Sure. The difference is looking for a photo op or genuinely trying to get the service.
Right. Now, as we understand it, since all this went down, we've been told that your customer traffic has gone up dramatically. Is that right?
Tremendously. In fact, we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we have run completely out of product, and out of all of our ingredients to make our products, we've had special food service delivery runs. We have been inundated with orders. We've had calls from California, Las Vegas, Florida, Connecticut, folks that say, I just want to buy some cookies for the local nursing home. I want to buy some cookies for the VA hospital. I want to buy some cookies for this and that, and we're trying to fulfill all those things. We've fulfilled quite a bit, but we're still working. We've just been inundated, not to mention the storefront foot traffic that we've gotten, and support and handshakes, and it's been wonderful.
Chris, I've got the answer to our economic woes. Now, the country's been mired in 8.3% unemployment. We can't get out of that. We got 25 million people unemployed. We've got GDP growth hovering at an anemic 1%. We can't get the economy on track. We've got a consumer confidence problem. So the answer is just everybody turning down the president and the vice president to come in, and then the economy will take off. Our problems will be over. Right, that's the answer. It'll be like an economic floodgate.
Right. And let me say also, too, John, I was sure to say that I don't mean any disrespect to the president, the vice president, or the campaign, and I didn't intend for it to be that at all. And so for the folks who are kind of spinning it that direction, it was not a disrespect to the office or the vice president.
No, I get that. So now that the VP came in, now what about this other statement he made about unchaining Wall Street? And if we did that, that would put, quote unquote, you all back in chains. In fact, I'm going to play that.
Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Okay, it's going to put you all back in chains. Now, having turned them down, and then the day after, or same day, the vice president made that bizarre statement, did you feel even stronger about the original decision?
Well, actually, I think he made that statement maybe the day before. I think that was in Danville, Virginia, correct?
Right, Danville.
Right. I think that was the day before, and I had known about that. Of course, I had known about his misstatement of knowing where he was. Saying he was in North Carolina when he was in Virginia. But all of those things are what played into that decision. This administration does not understand that really unchaining the individual, releasing the individual to innovate and design and create, that's what's going to free up the economy. It's not going to be the government doing that. The government's not able to do that. The individual is who's going to do that. And so I think they just have a stark misunderstanding of what really can free up this economy and free up this country and get people back to work.
As a small business owner, Chris, what is the one thing that a President Romney would be able to do immediately that you believe would increase sales in your enterprise and provide yourself and your family as an entrepreneur with additional opportunity?
Sure. Basically, free people up to be able to spend more money. If you look at the Romney-Ryan plan, decreasing taxes on the middle-class families, but not only that, we have been inundated with other small business owners. And these are folks who are scared to death to hire people because they don't know what their budget's going to look like next year. They've got this Obamacare, kind of staring them down, and they don't know how that's all going to pan out and really how much that's going to cost them. But if we would remove some of those things off of the small businesses, people would be freed up to spend more money, hire more people, get people back to work, and basically that trickles down the chain. They're going to spend more money on cookies if they're freed up to have jobs. That's just how it works. Freeing up enterprise is what's going to reestablish the economy, freeing up people.
Okay, Chris, we got about a half a minute. Tell our audience if they want to buy something from your bakery or order something or get in touch. What's your website? Where do they go?
Sure, crumbandgetit.com, all spelled out. Right now, we are not equipped to do any shipping out of our local area. Of course, we didn't know the week would go as it's gone. But we are working on that. Give us a few weeks, watch our Facebook page, and watch the website, and hopefully we'll get some shipping stuff underway. And I appreciate all the kind words and support. Crumbandgetit.com.
And that's CRUMB, Crumbandgetit,
right.
Crumbandgetit.com.
Right.
Okay, Chris, we want to thank you for joining us today. We want to give both yourself and your bride, Kelly, a shout-out for standing up for what you believe in, not having any idea in reality what the consequences would be. That is true courage. Thank you, Chris.
I appreciate that, Mr. Fredericks. Thanks for having me on.
Okay. Chris and Kelly McMurry, the owners of Crumb and Get It Bakery, they said to Vice President Biden, "No donuts for you."